What's going on, guys? Welcome to your 34th Android tutorial, and what we're going to get into is some sprite sheets and using sprites and animation. As you can see here, we just have a little guy that's jumping around the screen, and we're using a sprite sheet, which I'll explain what that is in a second. And the reason I'm doing this is because I've got a lot of requests for like game tutorials or game development tutorials and how to do sprite sheets. So that's why we're kind of doing this now, and it might be a little bit confusing for you brand new programmers, but I'll recover this topic once we start the Android or the Java game development series. But as for now, I just want to show you guys so you can start working on your sprite sheets and stuff like that. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to import or add a ping file again called sprite sheet, all lowercase, into our resources. And what a sprite sheet allows us to do is cut out a portion of it for each frame of our animation. So that way we can have one picture and we can just cut out the section that we need for that specific frame and all that good stuff. The way I created this, obviously it took me a while, as you can see the graphic detail that I put into this. But I created basically one image, and it's 64 pixels by 64 pixels, and then another image, and I put those images together. So each chunk is 64 pixels by 64, so that would be what, 256 across and 256 down. So if you guys want, create one of those, or just the image to work with for now, or you can I'll put this on the website eventually once I update the website, and you guys can download this one and use that as well. So let's get into it. What we're first going to do is we're going to set up a sprite class. So we're just going to again go new class, and we're going to call this sprite. Hit finish. We're also going to work with our surface view example class again as well. What we're going to set up here is just basically the foundation. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up the new variables that we'll need for our sprite animation. One is going to be of the type sprite, that class that we just created, and we're just going to call this sprite. And we also have another one that is going to be our bitmap image that I just showed you, and so we're just going to include a new bitmap in here as well, and we're going to call this blob, something like that, because I'm not exactly sure what I was going for in that sprite animation, but we're just going to call it blob. Now what we're going to do is we're going to set up our resources. So I'm just going to copy this ball bitmap that we set up previously, paste it, because again we're just decoding the resource. I'm not really going to explain this, but again it's going to be the sprite sheet that we just included that I just showed you guys as well, and that is going to be set equal to the blob PNG. So now that we've decoded the blob PNG, we also want to set up a sprite, and now we're going to scroll down to our view class down here. And this is where we're going to set up the construction of our sprite that we just created. So what we're going to say is we're going to say sprite, and again we don't know the constructor of the sprite yet, but we can get to that in the next tutorial. But just to give you a hint, it's going to take two parameters. So we're going to say new sprite, and we're going to say this, which is going to refer to our view, and we're also going to pass in the bitmap, so we're going to pass in blob as well. And right now this doesn't make any sense because again we don't have a constructor that takes in two parameters for our sprite class yet, but you know, it's all good, it's going to work out. And I'm sorry, I forgot that we established the sprite variable up there, so we're just going to do that within our constructor of our view class here. So again, this gets called first, so we're just going to set up our sprite construction here. And again, like I said, it's giving us an error because we don't have a constructor that takes two parameters, but for now that's all we're going to do. The last thing we're going to do within this our surface view example class is we're going to change the way that it draws to our canvas. Again, within our thread we have this run, and we lock the canvas, we draw the background, also draw that ball bitmap, and then we unlock and post. All we're going to do is we're going to cut out this line of code here, and we're going to create a new method called onDraw, and it's going to take a certain type of canvas. So we're going to give it the canvas C here. Again, the canvas that we're doing, and this is where we're going to do all our drawing methods. So we're going to set up a new method called onDraw, and again it takes in a canvas, and we're going to give it again the example C or even canvas, something like that. And it's giving us an error right now. Again, we're going to say void because it's not returning anything, it's actually drawing. And it also is giving us an error because it needs to be protected, because it just has to be. So we're just gonna say protected. I don't want to get you guys too confused with that. We're doing a lot of things, and if you guys do get confused, don't worry. Hopefully it'll make sense. If not, that's cool too. Especially for you brand new programmers, probably just skip this tutorial and the next one, and don't worry about sprites for a while. Until you're a little bit more comfortable with Java and Android. And now what we're doing is we're taking the canvas that's being passed in. Again, we renamed it called canvas here, so when we work within here, we're just going to say canvas, and then we're also going to create our sprite. And how we're going to do that is we're going to refer to our sprite object that we created. Again, this is of the sprite class. We're just going to say dot on draw. And we're also going to pass in the canvas that we want it to draw to. Again, essentially this will be C, because again, here's our C canvas that we lock, and then we call this onDraw method. We pass in the canvas that we locked, which we rename canvas here, and then we draw our background, draw all that stuff. Then we have the sprite that we created. Again, just thinking about the Java, if you guys are new programmers and you're like, what's going on here? What this is again an instance of our sprite class, and within our sprite class we need to create a method called onDraw that takes a canvas within its parameter. So that's just what you need to keep in mind. Again, it's giving us an error right now because we don't have a draw method within our sprite class. As you can see, it's empty here. And right now, again, we're getting a lot of errors. Probably confusing you guys because none of these methods are doing anything, and besides decoding the resource for the blob, but we'll get to that when it comes. So thanks again for watching, guys. Make sure you check out the next tutorial, otherwise you're just going to be completely confused at what we just did here. In the next tutorial, we're going to define our sprite class and get that working. So thanks again for watching, guys, and have a good one.